Chapter 10. I run a perfectly good bus. It didn't take long for me to pack. I decided to leave the Minotaur horn in my cabin, which left me only an extra change of clothes and a toothbrush to stuff in my backpack that Grover had found for me. The camp store loaned me $100 in mortal money and 20 golden drachmas. These coins were as big as Girl Scout cookies and had images of various Greek gods stamped on one side and the entire Empire State Building on the other. The ancient mortal drachmas had been silver, Chiron told us, but Olympians never used less than pure gold. Chiron said the coins might come in handy for non-mortal transactions, whatever that meant. He gave Annabeth and me a canteen of nectar and a Ziploc bag full of ambrosia squares, to be used only in emergencies, if we were seriously hurt. It was god food, Chiron reminded us. It would cure almost any injury, but it was lethal to mortals. Too much would make a half-blood very, very feverish, and an overdose would burn us up, literally. Annabeth was bringing her magic Yankees cap, which she told me had been her 12th birthday present from her mom. She carried a book of famous classical architecture written in ancient Greek, to which, when she got bored, she would read, and a long bronze knife hidden in her shirt sleeve. I was sure the knife would get busted the first time we went through a metal detector. Grover wore his fake feet in his pants to pass as a human. He wore a green Rasta-style cap because when it rained, his curly hair flattened and you could see just the tips of his horns. His bright orange backpack was full of scrap metal apples and cans to snack on. In his pocket was a set of reed pipes his daddy goat had carved for him, even though he only knew two songs, Mozart's Piano Concerto No. 12 and Hilary Duff's So Yesterday, both of which sounded pretty bad on reed pipes. We waved goodbye to the other campers, took one last look at strawberry fields, the ocean, and the big house, then hiked up to Half-Blood Hill to the tall pine tree that used to be Thalia, daughter of Zeus. Chiron was waiting for us in his wheelchair. Next to him stood the surfer dude I'd seen when I was recovering in the sick room. According to Grover, the guy was the camp's head of security. He supposedly had eyes all over his body so he could never be surprised. Today, though, he was wearing a chauffeur's uniform, so I could see only extra peepers of his hands, eyes, face, and neck. "This is Argus," Chiron told me. "He will drive you into the city and, keep an eye on things." I heard footsteps behind us. Luke came running up the hill carrying a pair of basketball shoes. "Hey," he panted. "Glad I caught you." Annabelle blushed the way she always did when Luke was around. "Just want to say good luck," Luke said. "And I thought maybe you could use these." He handed me the sneakers, which looked pretty normal. They even smelled kind of normal. Luke said, "Maya!" White bird's wings sprouted out of the heels, startling me so much I dropped them. The shoes flapped around on the ground until the wings folded up and disappeared. "Awesome," Grover said. Luke smiled. "Those served me well when I was on my quest. Gift from Dad. Of course, I don't use them much these days." His expression turned sad. I didn't know what to say. It was cool enough that Luke had come to say goodbye. I'd been afraid he might resent me for getting so much attention the last few days. But here, he was giving me a magic gift. It made me blush almost as much as Annabeth. "Hey man, thanks." "Listen, Percy," Luke sounded uncomfortable. "A lot of hopes are riding on you. So just kill some monsters for me, okay?" We shook hands. Luke patted Grover's head between his horns, then gave a goodbye hug to Annabeth, who looked like she might pass out. After Luke was gone, I told her, "You're hyperventilating." "I'm not." "You let him capture the flag instead of you, didn't you?" "Oh, why do I want to go anywhere with you, Percy?" She stomped down the other side of the hill, where a white SUV was waiting on the shoulder of the road. Argus followed, jingling his car keys. I picked up the flying shoes and had a sudden bad feeling. I looked at Chiron. "I won't be able to use these, will I?" He shook his head. "Luke meant well, Percy, but taking to the air, that would not be wise for you." I nodded, disappointed, but then I got an idea. "Hey, Grover, you want a magic item?" His eyes lit up. "Me?" Pretty soon we'd lace the sneakers over his fake feet, and the world's first flying goat boy was ready to launch. "Maya!" he shouted. He got off the ground okay, but then he fell over sideways so his backpack dragged to the grass. The winged shoes just kept bucking up and down like tiny little broncos. "Patience, practice," Chiron said after him. "You just need practice." "Ah!" Grover went flying sideways down the hill like a possessed lawnmower, heading towards the van. Before I could follow, Chiron grabbed my arm. "I should have trained you better, Percy," he said. "If only I had more time. Hercules, Jason, they all got more training." "That's okay. I just wish—" I stopped myself before I was about to sound like a little brat. I was wishing my dad had given me some cool magic item to help on the quest. Something as good as Luke's flying shoes or Annabeth's invisible cap.